Jarryd Holmes is, well, either you're living under a rock or you're new to the community. One or the other. Either way, we love that you're joined in. But let me read out, Jarryd. I've got a pretty heavy bio here that I'm gonna read out for you. Hopefully, you approve this. But Jarryd Holmes is the founder of Boulder Digital, a Tasmanian born marketing and automation agency known for defending the island with cutting edge, go high level systems. With a decade of experience in marketing and sales, Jarryd has helped service based businesses scale through AI powered funnels, chatbots, voice AI, and really end-to-end campaign strategy. His team onboarded over 26 clients in late 2024 using our automated webinar systems, achieved 14 nominations at the Australian National AI Awards, which is really a big deal, and recently supported over 16 clients with voice AI integrations. Jarryd also pioneered Alfred AI for Google Business Optimization and was named Billie Jean's Genius of the Week for his GHL driven voice AI campaign. Well, how was that bio intro there?
I feel like a superhero. My brain's just exploding with ego right now. No, it's definitely not. But I tell you what, you've absolutely nailed it. That's I almost need to take a snippet of that and just use that for intros moving forward.
I love it. Well, Jarryd is someone I call a friend, and the reason why, because I've watched his growth from far. Even though me and him didn't interact a lot, I know about what Jarryd's doing from so many people. I've been in part of a lot of the Australian and kind of a lot of the Asian events in general, and I always see Jarryd. Were you in one of our events in person by chance? Were you at the Sydney event? Okay,
Saspreneur
yeah,
Sydney.
that's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
great time that we spent together. But Jarryd, help people understand your journey a little bit. What's the story? Who is Jarryd?
I think if you were to talk about the story, for me, it was working out what it was that I wanted to do, stepping into something else, because I've always been in business. I've always been doing sales and marketing. I've been working for myself or working for someone else, and I just know that I'm meant to be running a business of my own and doing my own thing. And then it just came down to wanting to help people, and so naturally, what I thought I was going to be doing to what I'm doing now is so different. But it started with HighLevel to make that possible. And you probably don't even know this, Paulson, but I was doing a coaching certification. I was doing my NLP certification. I'd worked with so many people in the space of sales. So your Grant Cardones, your Ryan Tuckwoods on the Gold Coast in Australia, your Jordan Belforts. I had a day with him here in Australia before the place was locked down with COVID. And so I went, this really helps people. Like I'm going to help people to be better at sales, be better at communication. And that then turned into who I was doing my coaching through to introduce us to HighLevel. But at that time it was white labeled. So we didn't know what it was. We just went, wow, this tool does some really neat stuff. What is this tool that this guy's created, And you're thinking, wow, this is insane that this guy's a coach, but he's also put this software together as well. It's blowing my mind. And then I think what happened, he sent out communication and by accident it said HighLevel in it. And I went, what is that? And then I went online and Googled it and I went, far out. This does so much more than what I'm actually using it for. But my first initial use was going into HighLevel and using it for webinars. So that's kind of how I started in the space, was automating webinars and running all of it through HighLevel. And this is a long time ago as to how you can run webinars through HighLevel now. But even the automation back then just made life so much easier. So I went through that and I was going through the motions, and I then was still a startup. I had a lot of leads coming in. I couldn't keep up with the leads. I hired my first team member. His name was RJ. He's still with me now. He's the 2IC. He's based in the Philippines. And we just kept on trying to grow and crush. And unfortunately, what happened was this, well, fortunately now, because it's a beautiful learning, but at the time I was like, oh my gosh, this is like almost as bad as death at this point. But what happened was we were introduced to this agency who I met through my sales community, and they promised the world with running ads. And what ended up happening was we lost 6 grand in fees and then another 18 grand in ads. And the worst part of that, Paulson, how many sales do you reckon we made?
Probably none.
We made one sale, and it was from someone that we ran ads to from my own ads for our own webinar that came through and bought. But he bought because they told me to discount our services by 85% because they were at this point clutching at straws, right? I
Wow.
ran my last webinar, no one even showed up. And that one webinar, they told me they were super qualified because I was paying $100 a lead and not a single person showed up. So I was super hit back from that. And this is probably the first time I'm openly talking on a larger scale with this, but I think it's really important that people can see the real impacts in business. Because sometimes people go, oh, this horrible thing happened to me, but it only happens to me. It's like, no, like most people going into business have a lot of, challenges that come through. And so, integrating with, like, working with people in the community, you'll see this. You'll actually interact with people and see that they've also had tough times. But it was the best thing ever because I remember it was Christmas time and Johan reached out to me. You know Johan
Yep.
from HighLevel Suite. So he rang me up and he's like, "Yo," I'm like, "Hey man." He's like, "Dude, you're doing the sales coaching?" And I went, "Yeah." He's like, "But your background is sales and marketing." I went, "Yeah." He goes, "So why the heck aren't you doing that?" And then the call ended there.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
just like, this is something really heavy to sit on. So for 2 weeks over the Christmas period, running in a low period, why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing that? Why am I doing the sales coaching? And what it was, Paulson, was I worked out that I felt that doing sales was helping people more on a deeper level. But when you talk about working with small to medium businesses, as an example, the impact that you can make from marketing and sales is huge because they're more or less, if they're working with you or one or two other people, they're putting all their chips in that you're going to be able to help them. Like you're literally their chance of getting to the next level. And so I caught up with RJ and I'm like, right, this is what we're doing. We're all in. We're going back into the marketing. We'll help with the sales coaching side of things, but we're all in, and we're just going to learn what opportunities we can create for people in HighLevel. And that's exactly what we did, right?
Wow.
And so that's how we got into the HighLevel space, and got to where we are now by doing that. But it was never ever this thing where I thought in 3 years' time I'm going to be in HighLevel, I'm going to be signing people up, and we're going to be doing these great things. Never even came to mind.
It's so funny. We all have this big master plan,
Yeah.
and it almost never goes according to the master plan, depending on the growth, depending on what you're doing, your ICPs, the market changes. So, Jared, help me understand, if I am a high level or brand new, how can I work with someone like you? Like, what exactly should I learn from you?
I think that the biggest thing is two things. One, don't try and do everything yourself, because I think a lot of people feel that they have to do everything themselves. They'll jump in a HighLevel, they'll start watching all of the HighLevel tutorials, they'll jump in and do certification with HighLevel, and they'll just like fully immerse themselves in this. But then it's what I call analysis paralysis. Is a lot of people end up getting caught up with so many, or our Australian term is shiny object syndrome, or what we call the magpie effect, because magpies in Australia, that they're always trying to chase shiny things. And so I often say to people the importance of focusing on one thing. And what was good about this was when we first got into HighLevel, we had opportunity. We went, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff that the system can do. And this is before it had like 600 plus features in it. We were already amazed by that back then. And we're going, so how do we do this? There's reputation management, there's form fills, there's live chat widgets. Like how do we put all this together? And what we noticed is when we went to people and started talking about it, and you can tell I'm a pretty excited guy at the best of times. I'm like word vomiting these opportunities, like these features on people, but not so much the benefits. And what I found very quickly was it was overwhelm. They were just like, oh, too much, too fast. Like you're just kind of drowning me out here. And so what I did is we focused on one thing and just went, what's the one thing that we can do? And I often say, what's the thing that moves the needle? So what we did is we focused on moving the needle by putting together a systemized approach. So we used HighLevel Suite as a intro to our offer. We then had an automated webinar where we had people show up for it. And so basically what we'd do is we'd say, hey, look, like we'll show you how you can gather some leads, but that's all well and good to have a list. You then need to be able to have your outreach and be able to contact those people. So then what we did is we designed a process in HighLevel that had a video sales letter funnel where we had it all custom valued. Custom values are the best thing in HighLevel, as far as I'm concerned, because the setup for those pages was so quick after we did that. Because you can imagine setting up a VSL for every single person that comes on board, especially when we brought in like 26 people over what people call the quietest time of the year, December and January, right? Here we are double time trying to build all of these campaigns, getting people into the system. Custom values made that so much easier. So we worked on that one thing, and that was proof to me at that time. If you just focus on one thing, you can naturally grow your business, right? And
Yeah.
that's what works well, is focusing on one thing inside HighLevel. The other part then is working with other people. There are so many people that are amazing in the HighLevel community. I mean, amazing. And I'm super fortunate to call those people my friends. Being able to go up to Sydney and catch up with them and see them in
Yeah.
like real life was also amazing. Being able to catch up with you and the others was awesome to see everyone in real life, because we do a lot of this through the screen. And what's great is there's no rapport building either, because you've already done that. You're just talking about casual things. But I've been able to rely on people where I've been stuck in various ways. We had a voice agent build where it had like 1,000 different links that went to different bookings for a registered training organization. And then we reached out to the funnel doc, and I was just like, look, this is kind of some of the stuff that we're trying to do. Any chance that you could point us in the right direction? He goes, I do it like this. It's like, boom. All right, cool. And we had it ready and built in a couple of days. But that's how powerful this community is. A lot of people that I talk to think it's a little bit weird, because they're like, aren't you in like competition with them? Aren't you selling the same thing? Right. And it's like, no, because we the other side of what we do is we build for agency owners in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia, right? And what's been amazing is seeing how people use HighLevel. But the way they use HighLevel is one thing, and then the other thing that makes the difference is their experience. So for us right now, Paulson, you know that we're doubling down on voice and chat AI at the moment. We're running ads
Yeah.
for it. We're running funnels for it. We're getting book calls. We're getting people on board with that. That's a secret sauce, is being able to double down on those things and then just go all in and focus on that. And then each time I get like a moment where it's like, oh, I'm just not sure how to do that. It's amazing how I can just reach out to a couple of people in the community and actually get that experience. But then the thing that we now are developing here in Australia for our point of difference is, as you mentioned, the awards, right? I go, hey, look, I've been talking to other providers, someone to say to me, and I go, great. I go, tell me about that. And they're like, oh, well, there's this person and this person and this person. I go, awesome. Like, they're probably doing a fantastic job. I'm curious, like, have they got any accolades? Have they had anyone like pointing out how well they're doing in the industry? Because like a couple of weeks ago, I just came back from Sydney and we were nominated for 14 awards for the National Australian AI Awards. And they're like, oh, none. And so that's one of our points of difference that we now have by being able to talk about the voice and chat agents, is because we've been in there and done that. That now adds to our selling USP with
Right.
using HighLevel, and everyone has their own USP, whether they've got a background in being bookkeeper or a librarian, or being in a trade or real estate. Everyone has their own experience that they can apply to this and very quickly create their own thing.
Yeah. I love it. There's typically, three phases, in my opinion, for how to grow a business, right? Or an entrepreneur, how to grow an entrepreneur. The first phase is the clarity phase. They have to figure out what they're navigating, what the offer is, who they're catering to. The second phase is typically the speed. How fast can they get to it? How fast can they be, how fast can they, adjust and be agile. And the third thing is execution, like how well can they execute. um, can you help us understand, if I'm brand new watching this, the podcast with Jarryd Holmes is the first thing I come across in the world of high level. Like, imagine that. We see that all the time. They come across our spotlight sessions. That's the first thing. Where do I start for clarity as a brand new person in high level? There's so many different things. There's the Go Collab, there's Academy, there's three different Facebook groups, then another 100, high level Facebook groups from external parties. Like, where do I even start for clarity?
I think that one of the easiest ways to get some clarity is to first look at what you do. Like, what is it that you do? What do you do well? Is it communication? Is it that you're a really techie person that really loves digging into the knowledge base of high level and going through all of the notes inside there? And then working out if you're someone that's the idea person or the implementer is one of the first things. The second thing then is then potentially looking at someone that you know or someone that you could partner with to actually help you with the other side of things. So, as an example to that, me and Vit often have a laugh about this because Vit's a very detailed guy. I'm very like, let's just get this done and move the needle kind of guy. And we often talk about collaborations and doing things together because we fit both sides of that to do that really well. But that doesn't mean you necessarily need to like form a business with that person, although that'd be great. Just being able to leverage someone like that to come into the business every now and again to help with things, and not being afraid to ask for help or ask for a setup fee when working with these people. Because if you ask for a setup fee in your sales or your early sales, that's what's going to help you out. Once you know what that looks like, then it's looking at, okay, well, what do you want to implement inside high level? What is it that you want to share with people? And you're right, Paulson. You see this so often where people just see all of the amazing things that they can do in there. But then if they're not careful, they spend a lot of time in there and they actually don't move the needle. They don't get started on something. And so my suggestion to people starting out that are new to this is to try things, fail and fail forward, because you're not doing anything wrong. You're not failing like to just give up. You're actually learning every time you do this. We kept on failing forward before we found that our combination of the leads to the automation was something that worked for us. And we went, well, we can double down on this. And we doubled down on it for the couple of months that we were doing it. But if you're trying to find these things and think you're going to hit it off straight away, if you do, awesome. I think what a great outcome for you to hit success that early. But there's simple things that you could do, like the social planner as an example. The social planner is a very powerful tool and something that is so easy from an agency side of you to set up. And so you could jump in there and you could put that together and you could literally walk door to door into businesses, even hospitality businesses, going, do you find that that's a bit difficult? Do you have a bit of a challenge trying to keep up with posting content across all of those channels? What if I just showed you this tool? I tell you what, like, I'll give you a free trial for the first month. You just try it out and see how it goes. And if you love it, great. It's $200 a month. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. There's no risk there. And I won't hold you accountable to any lock-in contracts. Literally pay month by month. You can cancel anytime. Does that sound good to you? And you've literally just got something started from nothing. Like something so simple. Another one could be, hey, look, I'm curious. I filled out the form on your website because I wanted to get in contact with you. What happens after that? Because I didn't receive anything. Like I didn't even know if it was confirmed. I didn't get any confirmation on your site. I didn't receive anything. So I'm just curious, like what's that process? And then sometimes people be like, oh, you kind of fill it out and it gets left to die until someone gets in contact with you. It's like, okay, well, here's this thing that I've got. It's our form option, right? So what we do is we put a couple of forms into your website and make that really simple. So we just embed those into the site. And then how's this? When they fill out the form, here's what's going to happen. We're going to send them out a confirmation via text and via email. But then afterwards, what we're also going to do is we're then going to put them into a 12-month email sequence. And normally what we do is we charge $2,000 to set this up, but I'm happy to do it for you, Paulson, for $500, which means that you're going to save $1,500 and get started. Does that sound good to you? And then, that's another perfect way of doing it. So you could do incredibly awesome automations. You could get really technical with the AI and HighLevel and do some really techie kind of stuff. But if you're starting out, you don't need to do that, is
Yeah.
where I'm coming from. Simplicity is key. There's that acronym KISS, like keep it simple, stupid.
Mhm.
And just trying to go, how do we make this something that we can test, see if people want it, and then roll it out? But they're two that like literally just popped into my brain after you
Yeah.
asked the question of how you could roll that out.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll surprise yourself in different areas. Like you might find that, okay, if I build out an AI employee, it's a lot simpler than I thought just to get started, just to get some baseline thing going. It's not rocket science. Full confession, Jared, yesterday, it's November now. My wife, she has to have all the Christmas stuff up, like lights, all kinds of stuff. Usually, I'm the type of guy that don't even change a light bulb inside the house because I'm scared of electrical stuff. I'm scared to break things. I'm just like home stuff. I'll hire, fire whoever, bring in a contractor to do whatever. I'm not the handyman. Like I'm a business person, right? Yesterday I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do. I started Googling and chat GPTing how to put up Christmas lights, and I've got a house that that's got a roof that's pretty high up there, and I'm like, I would have never found myself on a 30-foot ladder walking my roof installing Christmas lights with like one person helping me who really was my neighbor who he just made sure I didn't fall the ladder.
Hold on.
But I was thinking to myself, I mean, this is not the real Paulson that I would have imagined like a year ago, you know?
Mm,
And that's literally what automations often feel like. I surprise myself and I get these types of stories from people that log in and they start building out things. And they're like, "Oh, that was yes, I had to set up high level, my numbers, my emails, the basic setup of an account." But once that was already done with the kickoff team, like I was able to put up a funnel, I was able to put up a chat, I was able to put up some sort of baseline forms and surveys and an email campaign. I'm like, once you do it once, it just becomes more clear and the clarity starts building with confidence, right?
mm. Yeah, I agree. Like, I I love how you're connecting this with putting up Christmas lights because I also wouldn't be up there doing that. I've got 2 shot knees now. I'd probably like have the shakes and then just fall off by accident. So
I
that
was
makes all the
frightened.
Oh
I was
man, I think
frightened.
I think you're awesome for doing that. My background's glazing, but I can tell you what, as far as doing technical stuff outside of like what we do now, I don't do anywhere near as much as what I would with hands on. Can still do a light globe, but I won't touch anything to do with power either because I don't want to die. I don't want to electrocute myself or anything crazy like that. I don't know
Right.
if you can get electrocuted from Christmas lights. I don't know.
Well, if
The
you touch the
thing.
wrong thing, you really can. And this is what we're talking about is what a brand new person inside of high level, I think, feels in the beginning.
Mm,
You're like, oh man, I don't want to accidentally database reactivate 10,000 people with the wrong text messages. I don't want like that's the fear, right? Or I don't want
yeah.
to accidentally send out an email campaign that ruins my reputation, right? Like, so I think
I've
the
even done
first
that.
right.
I love this because, like, I've even had times where things go out, and you're like, "Oh no, that fired. It wasn't meant to fire yet." And then you go, It was actually someone that I was working with, and they went, "That's going to happen. Like that's going to happen with automations." And I was still early into this at the time, Paulson. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, my world's ended. I sent that, and I shouldn't have. What will they think of me?" And it's so interesting now if we do anything like that, which isn't often, but if it happens now, it's just like, oh, we'll just get another email together and just say, hey, by the way, oopsie, here's what it is now. That's how easy it is to kind of fix things. But you're right, there is that fear of, oh, what if I do this wrong? But I think that the most important part is failing forward and learning from those things, because then you go, probably should have had that in draft before I went mucking around with it. Shouldn't I? You know, I probably shouldn't have had it set up on publish so that it literally was working, because now I've put myself in that position. So you learn every time when you're doing it. But it's so easy to do things now, because if people are like, oh, you start with what I love about high level. I'm kind of getting really excited about this, but what I love about it is you get started on one thing, and then you do what I call discovery. So you're trying to work out where they're at, where they're trying to get to, some of the challenges that they have, and then how do you fix some of those challenges? And for example, right now, people come to us and their challenge is I'm missing calls, or I'm using an after hour service and they don't do a very good job. So they're the challenges that we hear just because we're dialed in on voice and chat. So we have that conversation, but then they'll be like, oh, we just don't find that we can keep our clients up to date with things. Okay, cool. So we can build out a 12-month email newsletter. And it's like, oh, we have this new service that we want to that we want to showcase to people, but we just haven't got around to doing that yet. Okay, so we can market that, or we can build out a funnel. Some of these funnels, as you know, in high level are already built. So you can use the AI function to build one, or you can just use the template, change out a few colors, logos, photos, and a bit of text, and then you're off to the races. But these things can be additional upsells or cross sells from just that one thing that you focus on. I'm really big on that, Paulson. I think that if you can try and find that one thing that works for you to open the door and have a conversation, and that could be something where you're making $3,000 to $5,000 upfront. It might be something where you're only making $17 upfront, but as long as it can open the door, because when you're working with someone, you need to build trust in you, the company, and the product in that order. Like they need to trust you, then they need to trust the company is going to be able to deliver on that, and that the product's going to actually do the thing. And so if you can get started on something and help build trust by delivering on that thing, then you don't become a salesperson, you become a consultant. And then when you become a consultant, people consult in you to provide them with insight or strategy or information to help them achieve the thing. And that's a very different conversation, because sometimes people get like the sales wall up because they're like, oh, this person's just here to sell me something. Like, I got to be real careful with this. But when we're talking about the sales point, if we can actually come from a place of, hey, look, I'm not here to sell you anything today. I just want to ultimately see why we're talking about voice agents. First thing is we have a chat and we work out it's for you. We can talk about options. The second thing is we might find out it's not for you. And then I'll just stop the conversation there. I don't like wasting my time. I bet you don't like wasting your time. So we'll just cut that even there. But we may have other options, or I may know someone, again, massive on collaboration. I may know someone that can help with that thing, and I can always point you in the direction with them. And that's what works really well. For example, with the voice agents, it's interesting how many people we get that aren't having a voice issue, like a call issue. Sorry, they're actually having a lead issue. So sometimes I jump on the call now and I go, all right, so typically we jump on the call, Paulson. It's that you missing calls and you need something to handle that. It's not actually a call issue, it's a lead issue, and you want more leads. The third thing is I can't help you. And these people have come from the ad to the landing page, they've demoed the voice agent, they've booked in their call, and then I mention that to them, they go, leads, I need help with leads. And it's just completely like side mission to where we were jumping on this call to talk about voice agents, right? And so then I go, cool. So tell me more about that. And then what's high level got now? GPP optimization. Well, great. We can optimize your GPP, your Google Business Profile. I should say that out loud and remove the acronym so it's easy for everyone to know what I'm saying there. But by improving your Google Business Profile, you're actually helping them to improve their visibility overall. And that information is currently being pulled by Google AI. So if you're keeping that up to date and keeping that current, which, let's be honest, when we're talking about what people are doing here, a lot of people just set up a Google Business Profile and leave it to die. They go, I've set one up, I'm done now. They don't actually update it with posts. They don't update it with the correct information or the correct hours and things like that. They just kind of build it and leave it. Then you've got a tool now that can actually do that for them. And away you go. You've then literally found a way to actually help them with lead gen, as well as helping them with a way to actually help with handling those leads with the voice in the chat.
I love it. I often think that trust is the currency of speed, right? If you don't have trust internally with yourself of what you're bringing to the table, if the customer doesn't have trust in you or you don't have the trust in the customer, speed is the is the is affected typically, right? So you have clarity, you have speed, you have execution in business. Help us understand the speed component in your experience. Once you have the clarity, let's say you're at like 5K or 10K a month, like how do you scale this thing? Like where do you go? Where do you start in going faster and more like more rhythmic and predictably, you know?
I can talk about what we're doing right now that talks to that, because that to me is like the speed is like the scale stage for me,
Yeah.
right? And so we had this landing page put together, super basic, a white labeled missed call video. I can't even tell you what's on it, Paulson. It's just something that I know. It has a few things like don't miss calls, use an AI agent, use chat agents. I'm like, cool, that gets a message across. That's what we need to do, because we're in Australia. I'm in Tasmania. So Tasmania's like got 500,000 people that live on the island, right? So most of my clients are everywhere else. We've got 90,000 businesses roughly in Tasmania. So I go across Australia predominantly when I'm looking at this stuff. But the first question that I had is, all right, we've got AI voice. Does anyone actually want this thing? Like, are people ready for this? Do they want to implement it in their business yet? Or is it too early for that? And so that was the first thing we did. Again, we just went with, we need to try this. So we put together this funnel, we put together these ads, and it worked, right? We're like, okay, we're making money. People are jumping on board. They're booking in their calls, and we're fulfilling it through HighLevel. And it's like, cool. So we've got concept that it works. Now we're at that next stage where we go, now we know it works, right? Rather than spending all of our time building out this amazing strategy and building out this amazing funnel, it's like, let's just get something out there first and make sure that people want it and that we can actually make money from it and it's going to deliver a result. So we did that. So now we're doing what I call my V2. So our V2 is taking what we've done and we're now working with people that are strategists, people that understand design, execution, offers. So we can now double down on this. So this has been in the pipeline now for too long. We've been building this and we've had a few knockbacks along the way. And when we're talking about speed, mate, I'm all or nothing. I love to go. Like, give me the green light and I'm all for it. But I also know that now that we've got proof of concept, I need to slow down a little bit and make sure that these things are right, because we want to make sure that it delivers well. So we're going to build that out and then put that back in the market. But I guarantee that we'll get a better response because now we've actually taken a lot more time for each area of those stages to put it together. I'll share another example of speed. We wanted to get an offer out with the GPP optimization. We're like, let's go. We'll get it together. We're going to build out this landing page. It was like just a page with a video, a Loom video of me going, this is what we've got. This is what we do. This is how we're going to do it. Yada, yada, yada. And then we had a chat agent on there as well to try and convert those people and book appointments. That thing bombed so hard because we were so rushed to get it out there. And in the first week, I reckon I just blew $2,000 on ads. Nothing, Paulson, came out of it. Nothing, not a single sale. And the reason for that being is we rushed it. We rushed it so quickly to try and get something out there instead of just looking at each stage and thinking of the person going, what's their belief? How do we show them how we can change that belief and give them an outcome to it? And then how do we deliver it? And so now that we've done that same campaign, we're running a Black Friday deal, but we've now done a V2 of that. That's performing a lot better now because we took the time to then go through that. So I think that when we're talking about the scaling of things, you need to just get started rather than trying to be perfect right off the bat, because you might find out people don't actually want it. You might have this great idea and then you find out it sucks. I did this with my sales coaching with a sales program. We ran a beta and people told me to run a beta. I was still charging full price because I was like, well, I don't want to discount it, but I could have done and done a beta. But the beta helps me to work out, does this sales coaching actually rock or does it suck? And do people want it? And if they don't want it, I'm going to have to make some crazy changes to it if I'm going to roll it out properly to get in front of people. So first work out the plan, test the plan, get results from that plan, then use speed and scale to then double down on that.
Can you talk about biases? Because In the world of economics, like supply demand matters a lot. And a lot of high levelers, often in my personal opinion, they overbuild or they build out things that just doesn't have enough demand just because they think it's beautiful, they think it's amazing. We're all biased because we want to build something that's super fancy, and I'm just like, dude, honestly, all you need is a two-step thing and something that you would build out in 5 minutes. Yes, that's it. Like, you don't need
Done is better than
anything
perfect, man.
ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. Like, but it's easy to build up biases because you're the builder, right? Like, if you ask the construction person who is in the world of home services, they're gonna explain the best potential scenario of a build out versus just getting a minimum viable product. So, like, from a speed standpoint, help us understand how to navigate some of these biases.
Well, I think that the big thing there, mate, is just to look at just some of the things that we've touched on. Look how easy it is to talk about the social planner. That requires like next to no setup whatsoever to be able to have a viable product that you can actually get out and test and get to people to utilize within your business. You could make a business model just on that. I remember at Saspreneur that Ryan was talking about in his presentation, a business that was doing a similar thing to DocuSign. And that was just a simple, like two-step automation, that was then making multi-millions in figures just from that one
Yeah.
automation,
Yeah,
right?
I see that with like reputation management is another one, similar setup. There's very basic things, but it's so valuable to the business that
Mega valuable. And the thing is, a lot of the time, business owners don't have the time or they don't have the money, and they'll normally give up one or the other. So the people that generally want to give up their time probably aren't the best fit for a customer for you, because if they're happy to give up their time, they often say that they're happy to, spend the time trying to learn it or implement it or do it. Whereas if you've got the other people that then go, I know it's important to me, it's important for our business, and we don't have the time to do it. We'd rather get someone to come in and do it right the first time. That's where you could literally walk in with the social media management, us and the planner, and just put that together and just go, here's the planner. This is how it works. We've now integrated all your socials. You've got your GPP on there now, your Google Business Profile. I'm so used to acronyming that, but
yeah.
those are just such simple, effective things. It's the same as the website form, where you could just have a website form and one text and one email going, hey Paulson, thanks so much for filling out that form, one of our team members will get back to you soon. You might want to implement AI into your business. There are so many amazing templates. Like come from Dallas, the event in Dallas, there's so many great um, agents that have been built in there. And we've even looked at those agents and gone, let's compare our prompts to their prompts and look at how they're doing things. The thing that we liked the most out of looking at those was the actions that they're using, because we were using some actions, but some of the actions that they're using inside there were quite impressive. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're literally looking at something that someone's done and it's worked, and then just gone with it. And I think that that's the key thing with what you're saying, Paulson. You don't have to be the creator of something new. You don't have to build this big elaborate plan. And if you do that, sometimes you really get caught in the weeds and you're not moving the needle because you're so fixated on, I can't bring this out yet. It's not ready. I can't share this with people yet because I need to do these things. And then, for example, HighLevel might bring out some new features, and some of those features, they then go, that would fit with what I'm doing. No, I can't release it yet because now I need to make sure that those are working in there. And this is why I say done's better than perfect, because if you don't test it to see if people want it first, then you'll never know, right? It'd be like if HighLevel went, we're not going to bring out the product because all of the features that we plan with AI and everything in the future that we want to bring out, we're not going to do it yet until all of that's ready. The opportunity is totally missed for HighLevel because they just sat on their hands, and someone else could have come in and taken that market. But this is a perfect example of this. Is HighLevel is nowhere near what it was to where it is now because it's evolving and it's trying to provide more for users, for agency owners. It's trying to give you more tools so that you can find your thing that you want to focus on and you can roll that out. The new one now, gift cards. Like, I haven't looked into that yet, but I know that that's there now. You could literally start a model just by doing that. It's all there. It's all done. You guys have built it all out. So realistically, you just need to go in there, watch a few YouTube videos to understand how it comes together, because the community is so amazing at bringing out content every time there's new features. So it's very, very easy to learn enough about what you need to then be able to offer it to people. So the world's never been more resourceful, in my opinion. The world's never been more resourceful at understanding how to get into this stuff and learn it. It is not uncommon for me or RJ to jump on YouTube and have a look at something, you know. So we'll reach out if we're getting stuck. We'll reach out to the support in HighLevel. We'll reach out to our white label support. If we're there, we'll reach out to our community. We'll drop something into the Facebook group. But there's always someone willing to help. There's always someone willing to help get it all together. And I think that the other thing that people that are starting out need to be careful of is not falling into the trap of buying snapshots, because I see that a lot. If there was a
Yep.
drug addiction for HighLevel, it would be snapshots. Because everyone's like, what do you mean? Oh, you've got a snapshot? I want that snapshot. And sometimes what happens is you build all this stuff into your account with snapshots and you're like, what does this stuff even do? How does this thing work? Where did this one come from? Because it hasn't been documented. People like Michael Pacito, he's a big advocate on documenting things and making sure that things are laid out. And I agree with him. I think that knowing what's actually in your account and what it's doing is super important. So it's not getting caught in those things. It's keeping it simple and just simplifying that process without getting caught in doing all of these extra things.
I love it. So we talked about two things so far: clarity and speed. Let's talk about execution. What does execution look like to you? Let's start at the decision making level. When you first start off as a solopreneur versus now you have additional team members, like what are some lessons that you've learned in execution?
In what way? Help me unpack that.
So if I'm starting out and I'm pretty fresh into the world of business, how do I even execute on things that matter? Where do I create a priority list of what is important, right? Depending on, do I go sell this thing or and then build out, or do I like build out and then go sell it, or like do I just partner up with somebody if I'm like, a strategy person, I need an implementer or vice versa. Like this is where my mind is when I think of execution.
I love this because you could almost answer yes to everything that you just said there. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Every one of those things you could go out and do. You could find that person, for example, that might be the yin to yang of being the visionary or the implementer. As an example, you could do that. You could go to the community and ask for some insight into what's working right now. You could you could look at YouTube videos or go down that rabbit hole, but you've just got to be so careful to avoid the analysis paralysis of not moving, because while you're not moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're not making sales. If you're not making sales, you haven't got a business. You've just got a really expensive hobby, because what you're doing is you're paying for subscriptions to things and you're not bringing people in. You're not covering those costs. You're finding a way to cover those costs. Um, I spoke to a guy last week, and at first I didn't know he was a startup. We're in a group call. There's a few of us there, and he was just taking in bits from everyone, and I found that quite interesting. He's like, "Oh, so I should learn that," and they're like, "Yeah, learn that," and then it'd be something else like voice agents. "Oh, yeah, you should learn that," and I went, "Gosh, you're giving this guy a lot of different information. Like, there's not a takeaway from this. There's like many takeaways from this. Yet, it's not actually a path." And I said, "Can I just double check? Are you saying you're a startup?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a startup." I'm like, "So no clients, no money coming in right now?" He's like, "I haven't even got the HighLevel subscription yet." I'm like, "Right, cool. So we need to get you in using HighLevel first, and then we need to get you a couple of clients. He's like, all right, so the 297 or the 497, like, mate, well, you can have a couple of sub accounts on the 97. Let's get you in, let's get you using it, let's get you just making some money and feeling confident in yourself. And then once you're confident, then you can start to grow in many directions or bring people in or a VA or however that looks. And he was the person that I mentioned to because he was like, oh, all of this AI, I'm just getting a bit overwhelmed with it. I went, well, here's the thing. We can scratch all of the AI right now. We can just scratch all of that as an idea and we can just go with keeping it simple. They've got the social content planner in there. They're like, yep. I'm like, great. Go sell that to people. He's like, what do you
That,
mean? I'm like, just sell that. And he goes, do people want that? I'm like, well, you're going to find out. Like, you literally walk in, say good day to people, go, I've got this amazing product. It takes all of your content and it pushes it all out for you at any specific time that you want it to go out. And the best part is it's completely automated. You don't even have to touch it. Does that sound good to you? And sell it to them and say the first month's free. And then every month after is $200 a month. I'm like, you get one person on, you've covered the cost. You bring in a couple more people, guess what? You've covered the cost to upgrade your subscription with HighLevel. Right now, we're not making money, but we're also not losing money. We're at break even, and break even's a great place to be. It's better than losing money, right? And then we can then do the stepping stones from there. I then spoke to him about the Google Business Profile Optimization. Said, right now we know that skip bin hire, which I think you guys call waste management in the States,
yeah, yeah.
but basically you still bin that gets dropped off on a construction site or a residential property. We've been doing GPP optimization for them, and mate, they are crushing it. Like, we got one guy when we're going up to Saspreneur. I still remember this. We had one guy sign up, and in the first 14 days, he was showing up for 8 out of his 10 service words that he wanted to be seen for. He had no website, and he literally had a Facebook page, and he'd already pushed all of his competitors out the way. That's how easy it was. He then had one sale worth $500. That guy came back and got another 4 bins. He's paid for the whole year. Like, depending on how you price it, he's paid for the whole year. He'll do that till he dies because he's seen the results. And this is why I say this on podcasts. I say this to you. You don't need to have this mega detailed, built, automated beast of a thing to get started, because you might find that you do things and you just don't like it. You go, you know what? Social media management, yeah, it was cool, but gosh, that's a lot of work. I just don't want to do that. I don't like doing that. I like being more the behind the scenes guy, where these guys can pay me a subscription and I've already set up some automations in there, and I just make sure that they just keep firing and doing their thing, because you might just be that person that's the implementer in the background. So you've got to try the different things, and HighLevel gives you the capabilities to try lots of things to see what it is that you want to do. I know people that just sell websites from HighLevel. That's their in. Like, I work with a guy that goes, hey, like, notice that your website's a bit tired. If you're interested, we'll mock up a new one, and if you like it, it's $199 a month. And so he just builds one from scratch, or grabs a template, drops it in. They go, wow, I love that. And then he's got a client that's then doing that, and then they grow into other things. So it doesn't have to be your only offer, but a core offer is what will help a startup to just get started. So, have a look by just talking to other high levelers, even in the community or your community, or talk to people in the business space that you want to work in and go, what are the problems that you face right now? Because it might be, I'm just sick of dealing with the phones. Well, then you double down on AI. There's agents already built. You change the prompt a little bit, you put it to play, and away you go.
I love this. What's funny when I think about the world of agency owners and marketers, you were part of like the Billie Jean groups. Like when I first started off, early days of like Sam Evans and just Dan Henry and like some of the OG legends of digital marketing, right? Frank Kern, like, back then the consensus across the industry, in my personal opinion, was you niche down into something, you offer one thing, you either do high ticket or low ticket, and you go all in on one industry, and everything else is very sinful, right? Everything else is sinful, like you cannot touch it. But as I see the world of high level evolve, the niching concept has changed a little bit. And the change to me is solution oriented, right? There's a lot of companies now that just built an entire businesses off of one feature stack. They're just the Google My Business guys, or they're just the funnel guys, or they're just the AI guys, or they're
Mm.
just, like the social media guys. Like you're seeing in the world of software, they say don't lead with features. Well, most of high levelers are leading with features, but the way they're positioning it is as a small business solution. They're not going in there and saying, "Oh, buy my feature." No, they're fulfilling just one component of a feature essentially. Is that what you see? Like how, what are is this like,
Oh, mate, you're
you
talking
know,
my love language right now. You're talking my love language right now. Out of out of being in the community, every time I've tried to take advice from people to niche on an industry, I get burnt. I get burnt every time. That's just me. I get burnt every time I try to niche down on an industry because my experience of selling marketing over the years hasn't actually been industry specific. This falls into where you're going with this. I love this. I'm so happy we're talking about this because I think that this will rattle the thoughts of how people see this and challenge it a little bit. But they might actually see that there's potential opportunities in what I say here. When when we're talking about the features of high level, there's a feature and the benefit. So each thing is the feature. Google Business Profile is a feature. The benefit is that it's going to give you local visibility. It's going to increase your credibility with reviews, right? It's going to have knock-on effects that become benefits for that business. And so the voice AI, we're going into V2. Everyone's like, what's the niche? You should focus on the niche. Make sure you're choosing a niche. And if I did that, mate, the 16 people that we spoke about, that we brought in, we've got people that have apartment businesses. We've got the largest Yamaha dealer in Queensland. We've got a caravan business. We've got a bowling alley business. Like, look how a skipping business, a plasterer. Like, look how diverse those industries are. The thing that we've niched on is our product, and this really is something that people don't say. Like, realistically, I have only met two other people so far in the high level community that do it like I'm suggesting, and just focus on the solution being provided by the product that you're using through high level, instead of focusing on the niche being industry specific. And
yeah.
I only met the third guy I met. I only met him like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "You're like the third person I've ever met that's doing this." The second person I only met a few months before that. He's based in the States. He's like, "Look, I just want to be able to openly solve problems with products. That's what I'm coming into high level to do. I'm not worried about the industry. I just want to solve problems with what it is that the things in high level do." And I was like, "Oh, mate, you're like the first person I've spoken to. I'll help you build that out. That's fine." And then the other guy, I was like, "You're like the third person." And I love it because it's not said enough. There are pain points that the features in high level solve. And so if you're having trouble with the amount of call volume you're getting, that is not a pain point to one industry. That is a pain point in business overall, right? And so imagine how limiting that would be if I just started going, right, well, my niche right now is accountants. I'm only going to do voice AI for accountants, and then jump on the call. Oh, I do this. Sorry, only work with accountants. Our solution's only built for them. We're literally limiting our capabilities and our way to grow and our way to help people by being niche specific. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that have set up systems that I know in high level that are niche specific, but they've built a system to suit the problems that niche faces, right? The industry that they're trying to solve. I know an incredible person that's in the car dealership space. I know a few in the car dealership space, but they've built a solution in high level to help them with the problems that they face. but you don't need to do that. And you go down a rabbit hole as a startup if you're doing that. Whereas if you just look at some of the things that are happening right now, you might go, all right, Google business profile optimization, open up Chat GPT. Why would someone want Google business profile optimization? What are the benefits to a business? Bup, 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 bup. Okay, cool. Now I know how it actually helps people. If I call them or walk into their business, now I can talk to them about that. Right. And then all of a sudden we're focused in on that. We we don't focus on industry at all. The only time I focus on industry, Paulson, is if we see really good results. So, for example, the Google business profile optimization worked really well with that skip in business. I'll tell you how easy it was for us to make additional sales with that. I was in my office here like this, pulled open Loom. I was like, hey guys, Jarryd here from Boulder Digital. I just wanted to tell you I'm really excited to be reaching out to you. We've got this incredible tool. It's a Google Business Profile Optimization tool. And here's what it's going to do. Here's an example of this person it worked for in your industry. So we know this works. If you're interested, all you have to do is reply to this email. We found all the people in that local area that had that industry, like the skip bin business, which is only 11, right? We had the emails go out to those 11 people once. We had one person on the day tell us they were going to buy yes, no, yes, no, yes, no 3 times and then pull out. The next week, we signed up a gentleman named John, and then John has been with us ever since. And we've now got 3 different skip bin businesses that are working with us just by doing a simple mail out to go, this worked for someone in your industry. If you're interested, here's how it works. Come back to us. So you can niche into industry as well, but notice that we just get people in with the problem that we're solving with the actual tool that we're trying to provide them.
Yeah. What I love is that people forget that you can market to an industry without niching into the industry.
Yes.
Right. So, we come from the world of traditional marketing where you did so much for everybody. Well, we know that's a lot, but then we shifted into the world of, oh, let's niche down. And now, and then after that, I saw the phase in digital marketing for a little bit where it's like, oh, I only do high ticket or I only do low ticket. It was like revenue niching for some reason. Now we're in the world of product niching. And I think high level had something to do with it. And what you said is amazing because it's a human to human connection. The reason why you're able to take in the story of a business owner and share it with another similar business owner is because they can relate to the other business owner.
Mm.
There is a human connection. It has nothing to do with the feature itself. It has nothing to do with the results you provided. It has everything to do with the people that are operating all these businesses, right? So to kind of just consolidate our entire conversation, Jarryd, what are some final thoughts you want to share with the audience here? This whole journey of building a business is very difficult. You and I know this. We've met in person. We've spent time together. We've seen other entrepreneurs now that we collaborate with, and everyone is in similar journey in different chapters, right?
Chapters, it's exactly how you'd say it, though, isn't it? Because um, it's almost like a business or a life book, and you're going through those motions. And some people are at those chapters a bit further than what you are, and you know that, but you're not feeling like you're not there or doing the right thing. You just know that they're at a different point in their business. Even when you look at the problems that you have in your business or the challenges that you have in your business, think about the challenges that people like Alex Hormozy had putting that book together and launching that. Think about the challenges that he would have been facing in comparison to the challenges that you might be facing in the chapter that you're on.
Right.
So different.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All of us are in different parts of the phase of this journey, right? Um, and I think the key is to collaborate. The one thing that I'm very proud of, Jarryd, in the world of high level is the collaborative mindset of the people inside of high level is very unique in its own right. Like I've been part of
USP.
so many, I mean, I've been part of so many communities over the years, but when I see high levelers collaborate, there is there's a different spirituality there. There's a different energy. There's a family kind of an environment that's just kind of taking place, right?
I
Like
agree.
I don't know what it is. I don't even know how we built that.
I
Is
know
it,
that was a question
yeah,
that was asked to the founders at Sydney.
right,
I
right.
know that that was literally a question that was asked at the Saspreneur. I remember that because I remember when I was on a podcast with Sean and Vit a few weeks ago, I asked him a similar question around challenges because High Level would have their different challenges at the level that they're at in their chapter as well, as opposed to where some of us might be. But it is, I would work for High Level if I wasn't running my business because
Well, come on.
like I have never experienced anything like it. Paulson, I live on a bloody island. Like I'm on an island.
I do too. It's just a bigger one, but I do too.
But the island, there, this is why people joke about defending the island. Like Jarryd's defending the island. He's the Tassie guy that people know is doing a good amount of things and supporting other people in the high level space from the island. He's defending the island, and I wear that and I love that. But I also would be very lonely if I didn't have the community that High Level has somehow built. Like we have Australian calls every week where people come together and jump on calls. I'm part of communities from other amazing people in High Level that have groups and they have their calls and I jump on those calls and then all of a sudden I've gone from connecting with people that are in the same space in Australia to then jumping on a call with people that are then based in the States or based in Canada or based in the UK. And you're hearing challenges, what people are doing, what they're trying, what the market's doing, what industries are working well. And I've never seen, like we were joking about the competition, the competitive side, like you're in competition with one another. There are so many businesses out there, like you'll never be in competition with people because there's just so much market there that you can jump into and you'll have your own thing to get into. The community, the community for me is one of the reasons why I love what we do. RJ and I have never felt more supported when we're trying to do things or solve things. Um, we had a number disappear off our account. I remember posting it in the High Level group, and I had people that were friends that all doubled down and started trying to reach out to people. I then had High Level tagging in people and trying to solve it. Like, because for us, what we were trying to do at the time, we needed that number. And the support ticket was going to take longer than just going, hey, we need this right now. Like, where do you get that kind of support where people are able to go, hey, we can see the problem that you're trying to solve here. Let's jump onto this. It was like sorted within an hour. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is really going to be like a setback for us right now because we're actively using this thing and sorted so quickly. That is a company this size doesn't normally, your company doesn't normally have that kind of touch point at such a lower level of being able to do that. And they don't have a community of people normally, as far as what I've seen. And you're saying that you've seen some similar things where they'll jump in and try and support you and connect you with people as well. The community is incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. And this is why just learning and listening and talking to other people, going into their groups, jumping onto the weekly call that might be happening in your local area, you can take so much from it. The community is one of the secret weapons to success in High Level, because all of a sudden you're not there left just with the software. You're talking with people that are real use cases of using it, people that are actually using it. I can tell you, mate, I sometimes sit in gratitude and have like happy tears at the end of some days because I'm so grateful for people and what they're doing. After we came back from Sydney, which is a journey for me, but after we came back from Sydney from the AI Awards, like I thought it was a big thing. At first, I remember being told that we were going to get that. Me and my son read the email. He's 13. We literally cried in happy tears. He's like, "Oh, it's so good to see people see the sacrifices that you've given up and the chances of spending time with me. You know, you've really tried to build this and help people, and it's good to see people seeing that. And so the pair of us are like sobbing in happy tears about this. And then a few weeks ago, the week after coming back from Sydney, I then jump on the Australian Mastermind, which is a community of the Australian high levelers. And like Priya's on there, the first thing that they want to talk about and shout out is how well Jarryd did, representing the island and representing Australia and representing it with high level on an AI front, and putting it out there. And here's people like clapping Paulson. Like that to me, some of these people I didn't even know. That to me is really, really humbling to know that we're trying to help and we're doing the right thing. But the support, right, that we're getting from this. I was on the call last week and I brought it up, and here's people like Gary, or Johan that are still there the moment I said it. Like these are the people that are in the community that are your competition, which aren't your competition, that are backing you to do the best that you can. And there's only one other time I've had that support, and that was a guy named Kerwin Ray back in 2016. But I've never seen that support since. And so, you know, waking up and doing this every day is not a job for me. It's not it's not even business. I can do a 16-hour day and thrive in this space. I go into flow. I'll jump on a call with someone in high level or VIT, and we'll just be jamming away and doing stuff while we're working. Like, how amazing is that? Because if you didn't have that community, I wouldn't even know these people.
Absolutely. I think, there's something to be said about that in the sense of the entrepreneurial journey is already lonely on its own. So it's important that we connect with a family of entrepreneurs that like-minded, they have similar, interests. But ultimately, um, I'm grateful myself, Jared. I work for some incredible founders who I can speak, specific to Sean, Robin, and Varun. Like these guys, they don't really have an ego, even behind the scenes. Like, people would misunderstand that they put up like this, persona or something,
Mm.
that they are just naturally, humble, but they really are humble. They are really behind the scenes who they are. Like
I can vouch for
they
that.
don't they don't have
Even
an ego.
meeting.
Like
No, I agree.
and like I like we would be in Dallas downtown, and Sean and I would be at like I remember there's like a Discovery AT&T Discovery area, like it's like a town center almost, and our old office was about 2 miles away.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, so we were all together and we had just finished eating or something. I was like, Sean, I'm gonna call an Uber. And Sean's like, why, Paulson? Why are you calling an Uber? Let's just walk. It's only 2 miles. I'm like, well, all right. Like, I guess I shouldn't book an Uber. So we ended up walking back, and I thought to myself, I'm like, here's a billionaire
Mm.
thinking about just walking back to the office. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I probably should order Uber Black since he's with me. Like I was like, I misconnected the dots there. And he's
Mm.
like, what's the point? Let's just go. And I was like, that's the way he treats this world of high level. It's there's no ego attached. So when that happens, you have the leaders that are like that. You bring in affiliates who don't have egos. You bring in customers who don't have egos. You build an ecosystem
Mm.
of culture. Like if you have kind of like a prideful personality, you probably won't do well in the world of high level that easy, right?
Yeah.
It's
You end up
because
butting
you
heads.
you end up butting heads, right? So you're absolutely right, Jared. There is something special about it. I'm just grateful to watch it grow.
It's insane, mate. Like I just sit back and even the Sydney event where you're going back to your hotel room after the final night, you sit back. Like we were playing board games as a group in the lobby with all these high levelers, that
Yeah.
flew in from all different countries as well. And like imagine that. Like at the end of the night, you've just had this couple of days, and then you're spending time together over a board game and collaborating and spending time together. You know, some of these people don't even touch board games, but they were there and they were getting involved and loving it. And I think that where you're right is if they had an ego, even if they tried to hide it, you can't hide it in your actions. You're not a chameleon. And it goes back to one apple spoils a batch. And normally, if it's spoiled at the top, it makes its way down. And so I think that this is one of the secret sources to why the community and why the ecosystem with everyone involved. Like I love connecting with you. I love connecting with people that are actually working with HighLevel. I never have a bad conversation. You know, there's always smiles, there's always laughter. Man, how good is that? That you can do that. And I just, yeah, mega humbling to know that that exists and that we're part of that. And I can't wait for Saspreneur coming back into Sydney, because, like, man, the moment they announce that thing, I'm going to have tickets booked and I'm going to be ready to rock. I just can't wait to catch up with everyone again,
Yeah.
and be part of that. And I think that even putting that out there as well, just on a finishing touch here, we like 8 times our ROI going up there, Paulson, just by connecting with new people, from an agency point of view, because we do builds for people, and we didn't know those people. We wouldn't have known those people if we didn't go along to those events and just have a bit of a chat and find out what everyone's doing.
Right.
And then that turned into opportunities, and we came back to Tassie and we've now got these partnerships with people. One guy that we made a partnership with, I went to an event in Sydney a few months ago. He literally booked a ticket the day before at like 10 minutes to midnight just so he could catch up with me. But
Yeah,
we wouldn't have met each other if we never went to that event.
I love it.
So I just think everything happens for a reason, but the good that comes out of HighLevel and the people it connects you with is something really special to me.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is this, you probably agree with me, Jared. The world of high level is just beginning, just starting.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't agree more. I think that even though it's been around for years, I think the opportunity, we're like we're on the cutting edge of what's to come.
You
I don't
have
know
no
what's to come.
idea
You
how
should give us a couple of secrets now, Paulson.
you have no idea how many events I go to where not a single person in the room of hundreds have never heard of high level. I spoke at an event in Dallas with
Mm,
over 600 people, and it was a marketing event. It's called the Digital Marketing Summit. I spoke there not
right.
too long ago. On stage, I said, "Raise your hand if you've heard of high level." Our team is behind the room, massive ballroom. Like two people raised their hands. And
Really?
and I was stunned. I was like, man, what like what? We're in Dallas? We're a Dallas-based company? Like and people still haven't heard of us. And that gave me assurance that we're still in the early stages.
I love this because Australia would be even further behind that again.
Right.
And so in Australia, I look at I say this all the time to people. I'm like, there is such an opportunity to come from this, and you look at the people that are starting in it now, and the opportunity that will come because naturally the progression of being involved in it is huge. Um, you know, I've even mentioned that I want to do an event down here in Tasmania because I
Good.
know that no one down here in Tasmania is seeing what this opportunity is, and you know they've probably got some form of automation or AI or something that they've kind of just had that's collected dust, still works, but has collected dust that someone set up like 5 or 10 years ago, not knowing the new opportunities. It's a little bit like when we went from traditional advertising to digital advertising, right? You had your TV, radio, and print. You had your audiences in each one. If you found your audience was in one that was getting you the best ROI, bang, double in. Like let's go for it. Let's get the press ads going. Let's get the TV
Yeah,
going. However that
yeah,
looks, and then it's changed with the way that focus is. And so it's being able to basically follow where you're trying to go to, and then double down on that as well.
absolutely. So for those of you that are watching, we talked about three things. First is the clarity phase. Second is the speed. Third is the execution. And we also obviously ended the conversation in the importance of the community and the ecosystem of high level. Jared, final thoughts. I feel like this is the second time I asked about the final thoughts. So this is actually the final thoughts. Send us home.
I would say don't be a stranger, and don't feel like you can't talk to people. If you see Jarryd Holmes on this podcast and you're like, oh gosh, he's just, he's above me. He's someone that's on a podcast. I could never talk to him. Please talk to me. Like I love being able to connect with other people in the community, and other people in the community that you might be afraid to talk to, reach out to them as well and say good day. The community is very, very good at that. And if you're a good human being that wants to do good things and help people, there is absolutely people like me and others that will share insights or time or want to collaborate with you. um, Work out that one thing. If you're a new person, work out that one thing. If you're someone that's been in high level that you're still trying to work out what it is that is your thing, try something, beta test it, go out to market with it, knock on doors, pick up the phone, run a couple $100 in ads, find the thing that you want to be doing, and then once you've found that thing, scale, double down, and do not get caught in the shiny object syndrome. Like, just trust yourself to really give something a good go for a couple of months, and then decide what it is that you want to do from there.
I love it. Well, Jared, on behalf of High Level and our podcast, thanks for saying yes to us. Hopefully, we'll
Mate,
do this again.
thanks for the invite. I'm humbled to be here and be crushing it on this call with you.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, we'll see each other in person. Maybe if you throw in a event in person in Tasmania, maybe we'll be out there. We never know. You never know. We'll come out there with our crew. But either way, hopefully, I'll see you in Australia in 2026. But for those of you that are watching, in case if you're on the fence and don't have a high level account yet, I know a guy next to me. Reach out to him or get onto our homepage and test us out. Look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.
See you guys. Bye now.